Due to my original live commentary on this part being lost because my microphone wasn't on at the time, this episode will be done with post-commentary. My apologies. It's time to head to the Great Warrior's Wall, where, given the chapter title and things that have transpired already on Birthright, I think we all know who we're going to be fighting here, and we all dread it. It's time to get broken. Now, this conversation here is actually quite interesting. So, at the end of the last chapter, I was like, okay, yeah, I can't understand why some people will be annoyed at the Norse storyline. But then this happens, and, well, not this is depressing, but you'll see what happens here. This scene, I think, is actually quite interesting, and to me, with this scene, I'm actually more interested in how the Norse storyline is developing than the Hoshido story at this point. So, yeah, Sakura witnessed, that massacre. Hans and Iago just shot up even higher on my to-kill list. And here's where things get interesting. So this line here confirms that the retainers actually survive regardless, but I was utterly shocked to find out that Yukimura survived. The moment that I even saw Yukimura, I thought, okay, that guy is dead on the Nor route, no questions. Then at the end of that scene where he was just screaming, Norian scum, liars, and stuff like that, I was like, oh, he's dying, like he just got killed there. But no, he didn't. He's actually alive. So, yeah, Iago and Hans do seem to be pretty terrified of Xander. They should be, because he's amazing. And they're probably going to get even more terrified later on. Unfortunately, Sakura can't exactly see the others, which is going to be a shame, because that means that Hana and Tsubaki are going to get even more annoyed that they can't see Sakura. Hopefully Hana and Tsubaki can see each other, though, because in my headcanon, those two are still married on this route. Yeah, this would be very, very hard. However, this is actually really nice. This is a really nice moment. Elise actually visits her. So that whole arch-nemesis thing, really that was more of a kind of a joke thing, but once she sees that Sakura actually is in genuine pain, she's suddenly nice to see. I really like that, and I love how the Elise and Sakura relationship is developed on both routes. It is pretty awesome. Yes, they're both princesses, both the younger siblings, both healers, both have a potential to be amazing. And of course they don't. Yeah, we need to keep watch on them, otherwise there might be a few unfortunate accidents. And yeah, this is good. See, I love how Kamui points this out here. This does mitigate a lot of what happened at the end of the last chapter, as does this that's about to come up. And yeah, I'm dwelling... Yeah, here we go. So this part, I actually quite like this development here. So, after that thing that just happened, it's clear that Iago, Hans, and Garen made a lot of enemies within the Norian army for that. That was pretty much one of the first, massacres that's been really public. And, yeah, basically... The Nor army is split into the faction that's basically our faction, and the one that's basically evil. And... yeah, it seems like the army is fracturing, and there might be a rebellion sometime. See, I quite like this development. I think this is really interesting, and it does feel natural with what happened in the last chapter. Clearly, those three, there's a lot of people in the army that are really fed up with those three by now. And yes, unfortunately though, King Garen is already in Hoshido. We need to make sure the rebellion doesn't happen until he sits on the throne. Then it's basically death central for him. Oh, hi, interrupting villain. How you doing there? You get used to having a head, because that won't last long.
No.
Kamui at this point is just really just resisting punching him in the face, but yeah. We'll be arriving at the Great Warrior's Wall.
Well...
and for good reason. I think we have a good reason to be worried there. Yeah, we never actually saw that place when we were in Hoshido. What is it like? Maybe it involves a legendary hero who actually is a bit of a coward. But if we pass that wall, we'll enter the capital city. And then the real pain will most likely begin. Not that this chapter's not going to be painful, you'll see. Oh, of course. Iago, can't your forces just lead the charge somewhere else? And, yeah. At the very least, we're the one who's going to be dealing with the core Legion, which most likely means that we're going to have to be dealing with the named characters. Thankfully, it's better we're dealing with them than Iago, because that means there's a chance they might live. Iago, stop it. Just stop it. No one likes you anymore. No one ever liked you, but now they like you even worse. Yeah, but something tells me that, it's not going to be that simple. We must deal with Takumi, otherwise his brokenness will easily win the war for Oshidor right now.
Of course.
Iago?
Now then.
This is just another one of your villain schemes, isn't it? They'll all come unraveling soon, but until then, we're straight into the chapter. And this map's actually very interesting. We got this, and the moment I was looking at that, I was like, forts, reinforcements. I know there are going to be reinforcements here. So we have a rallying master of arms here with lots of weapons, rally strength and defense, plus some spear masters. Spear masters are pretty brutal at this point. Also have quick draw. Are pretty brutal at this point in the game. They've got great stats in all of the core physical areas, and one of them has a spear. This might be kind of interesting. We've also got some Basaras. A guy manning a ballista there. One of those Basaras has life and death. The others have some other skills. And you have a new skill that I haven't seen before. Do I check? Yeah, Amaterasu. Heals allies within 2 spaces at the start of each turn. Now, I don't think that that's a sniper skill. I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm guessing the second sniper skill is Bowfair. But, yeah. A lot of the enemies here seem to have Amaterasu. Actually, not sure what skill that's from. I'm guessing it's going to be from a Great Master or Priestess. And of course, they've brought back the counter archers. They had to do that at some point in the game. That's annoying. Now, you have rallies, and there's Hinata. He has Soul, Armored Blow, and Counter Magic, combined with his own personal skill that's effectively a regular counter. His stats are pretty much what you'd expect from him, except his speed's way higher than it really should be. But thankfully, these three, if we can find some way over this cliff and get through those stairs there, which are the same stairs we saw back in the Rainbow Sanctuary, we might be able to avoid fighting him. Notice that one of those Spear Masters has, well, a spear. We might be able to lure some enemies to the side of a cliff, thankfully, and maybe lunge. Also, Takumi's manning a ballista, which might be bad. We've got some lunging guys. They just really want to put us into range of Takumi, and I recognize a map sprite there. That's not good. We have... those fire things are nothing. At one point I was thinking they might be a map gimmick that lets, that archers use flaming arrows, but no. And there she is. This is bad because Nor Enmity affects just about everybody we have, but she also has Warding Blow. Not that her resistance is bad, it's still pretty decent. Yeah, here she is. She's a Spear Master. Different from what I promoted her to when she was playable, but, yeah. She also has Luna, which is terrifying, and Counter. And she is right in our way, and we have to fight past her. However, this is not a route mission. Also, we got some Seal skills, but thankfully not very much Seal defense. So this isn't a route mission, so technically speaking, we don't actually have to kill her. It's going to be pretty hard to avoid killing her, but I reckon I can think of something. Yes, I'm going to try and spare Oboro and Hinata if I can. Of course, there's no sparing this guy. Yep, the blamed one is here. This time he's got his Fujin Yumi and some really dangerous skills. Some really dangerous skills. Here he is, the broken one himself. But here's the thing. Unlike the chapter title, he doesn't look possessed at all. I was really expecting at this point his portrait to be all dark and possessed-ish, but it's not. He still has competitive. He has Rend Heaven. Rend Heaven, with a skill stat that high. Also Vengeance, which means, yeah, Rend Heaven and Vengeance. Bowfair now does +5 damage if using a bow or Yumi, rather than +5 to strength, which is actually interesting. So it works a little bit differently to how it did in Awakening. And of course, he's got point blank, so he can shoot us right in the face with the Fujin Yumi. So, this chapter's going to be, well, this chapter's going to be kind of a thing, but I actually quite enjoyed this chapter. It's actually quite fun, despite being fairly brutal in terms of difficulty. It's not, like, ridiculously cheap, and a lot of it is really doable. In fact, it's also, you'll see. I'll talk about that later. Another reason I kind of like this chapter. Now, I kind of might want a few archers. We don't need Niles here at all, because there are no capturable bosses. Oh yeah, I just realized on Midori, probably a good idea to take off Golem Bane at this point, because there are no golems on this map. So let's swap it out for Lock Touch, because there's some treasure chests. That's why I also want Nina here. Want to make sure we don't lose all of our Lock Touch users before we get those chests, because chests are important on this route. Very important. We've also got Kaze, he could go with Lock Touch too. And as far as people we could use, really I brought everyone that I want to, except for one. I think I could really use Keaton here, because he is amazing. But I really still want to bring Arthur, Elise, Percy. I still believe in Percy. And so the question here is who to kick out. I'm actually thinking at this point, even though you're a fellow Lock Touch user, I don't think that I really need Kaze here, especially with all these archers. Kaze is not good against archers. And the other reason why I don't think I need Kaze, as I'm showing here, is most of the enemies with magic here also have physical weapons. So there are less magic users for Kaze to, well, pretty much totally brutalize. So he's actually less useful here than he normally would be. And Keaton, on the other hand, I think I need a strong powerhouse and a tank. So definitely going to be using him. Now, really, the only question is how to arrange my characters. Now, I do want to make sure that we get over that chasm eventually. We've also got 4 forts there, and a lake here. Also, a whole bunch of archers here with counter. The question is whether to lure them first, or whether to lure the bottom group first. Both can be dangerous, but my plan, you'll see my plan a bit later. Also, rally strength from that Basara. Pretty sure that's not a Basara skill, but, in fact, now I think about it, seeing as, Warrior doesn't technically exist in this game, I wonder if Rally Strength is a Berserker skill now. Or is it a, I actually don't know what class has Rally Strength, and I don't want to. So my plan here is to send Xander and Effie after the archers. They're great physical tanks and have ranged weapons to avoid counter. Physical ranged weapons, so yeah, they're going to be quite useful here. And the lower part has Basaras, and I'm pretty sure that those two, well, you've seen how easily they fall to magic earlier. So, swapping Camilla up there, just in case I need to ferry some people over early-ish. Though at this point, I'm really not sure where Camilla should go exactly. My strong physical tank will probably maybe take on the archers, although he's not going to like counter. Yeah, still thinking about that. Only one of those Spearmasters had... Oh, actually, no, wait. That guy's got throwing clubs as well. So, I can lure a few of the enemies from across the chasm, but I won't do that just yet. I'll wait until I've got rid of the initial rush. Also, I see those forts behind me. Those are suspicious. And yeah, one of you has a guard Naginata, which is going to make you very difficult to take out. And I'm thinking, the problem here is Arthur would do great on the lower area if there weren't those Basaras. They really invalidate a lot of tanking here because they have, well, they can attack from both sides of the spectrum, and very few people can tank both sides of the spectrum, except for Camilla, but the problem with Camilla is that there are archers. Speaking of archers, we have Nina on the upper end, so she can shoot some of those snipers without fear of counter. And Mozu's an okay mixed tank. She's not the best. Yeah, I just realized here that Camilla might be better served on the lower end. She's not exactly the best mixed tank, but she can do an okay job. And... okay, at this point I was about to say, get ready for awesome music, that'll be later. Wow, he's calling her Princess of Nor. Definitely an insult coming from him. Takumi is determined this time, and given how broken he is... oh, Takumi, please don't give your life. Short and to the point intro, I like it. And here we go, awesome map name again. Oh, I love this song. This song really sets the mood. Now, I'm pretty sure that Ballista user is going to be, like, do almost nothing against Xander and Effie, so I'm not too worried about him for now. Seriously, this is just such a good song. Like, as much as I like A Light that I've now heard on Birthright, I like the battle version of A Light as a full song, and you don't hear the full battle version very often. This one, though, both the map version and the battle version are excellent. So, yeah, both of them are songs that I just really love listening to. And the battle version is not too different from the map version, so the transition feels very seamless. In general, it really does set the mood very, very well. It's just, it is pretty awesome. And as you can see, I've got, I'm tossing up whether to equip Siegfried to counterattack the archers, or whether to equip Noria Not Scum for better defense. But, because archers can do surprisingly high damage even with ridiculous tanking abilities. But I'm actually thinking at this point, maybe I'll use the long-range weapon just because I want to be able to counterattack them. That and Xander takes less damage from enemies with full HP anyway, so I may as well capitalize on that for now. He's probably not going to take very much. Don't go outside the range. What are you doing, me? I'm not really sure what past me is thinking here, but I know I really shouldn't be worried about that ballista. See, I'm checking here, 28 power, and Xander has more than enough defense to totally null that. I'm also making sure, though, that I don't go close enough to the cliff for a Basara to attack him, because that would be bad. Yeah, I just noticed they had Chivalry. Yeah, so he takes -2 damage from enemies with full HP, and that's going to be really helpful here. So effectively, all of you have 2 less attack power than you normally would, though that Silver Yumi is still going to hurt. I'm just comparing their attack power to Xander's defense at this point. And yeah, for Norian, not Scum, he'll have better defense, but I really think the counterattacks are worth it. I need to get rid of these snipers quickly, otherwise they'll cause problems for the rest of my army on the lower front, and we really don't want that. So setting as many people up here as possible to rush in and finish off any archers that Xander weakens. And meanwhile, I'm honestly not sure what to do on the lower part of the map. I really didn't have much of a concrete plan, and you'll see how that went soon. So, yeah, you gotta watch out for you, otherwise, people who are a little bit more squishy could get hit by the ballista. Kamui will go there. Not sure if she should pair up at this point. Equip the Dragon Stone for better. Actually, Dragon Stone Plus. I'm not attacking any enemies, so the low accuracy and the debuffing is not really going to affect me, but the higher defense is really going to help. At this point, I'm actually really worried because soon Kamui is going to need to reclass to something else, and I really don't want to lose the ability to use Dragon Stones. Because the tanking abilities Dragon Stones offer are amazing, especially given who I'm thinking Kamui is going to have to fight eventually. But we'll talk about that when we get there. These enemies with their rally skills, especially that Duelist Blow, that's kind of scary. Rally skills, Duelist Blow, Basaras with their magic. Of course, I wish the Basaras that I had on my side had better magic. Well, I mean, I've got Hayato, but he doesn't have bad, I mean, he's got bad strength, so, well, yeah, meh strength. Like, not terrible, but not fantastic either. Yeah, I really wish the Basaras that I had were this good at both ends of the spectrum, but oh well. At least the class gives Rend Heaven. Thankfully, none of these Basaras have it. If all Basaras had Rend Heaven, that'd be pretty insane. Something that I didn't notice until much later is Dwyer's Gentlehorn skill, which lowers the damage that female characters take if he's near them. That's actually going to come quite in handy later in this chapter, but I'll talk about that more when I realize Gentlehorn exists. As for here, yeah, that ballista there could be an issue, but it's not going to affect us until we go over that cliff, so we're not going to worry about that until later. And yeah, the ballista there. And then there is Hinata. Now, at this point, I think I was worried that Hinata and his group would come charging for us. I think, given that I've now finished this chapter and I've looked up, like, stuff from the wiki, I think he doesn't actually move unless you get in his range. And gonna go ahead and rally skill just for a high hit rate there. I'm actually, well, I don't want to, sound arrogant or anything, but I'm kind of impressed by how I did this chapter. I think I actually handled it surprisingly well early on. Towards the end, though, things may have got worse. So, it's enemy phase time. Now, get used to seeing Hinata rally everyone, because you're going to see that every single turn. And yeah, that was completely pointless. So yeah, 5 damage times 2 is still quite painful. Xander, I'd like a crit from you right about now. That would be very much appreciated. No crit, but at least you did quite a lot of damage. And hey, Xander leveled up, making up for his failure in the last chapter. Let's see how you do. That is actually very good, especially gaining speed. Definitely very good. I'm guessing that Xander's speed growth isn't bad, it's just that his base speed is not that good. And I did not expect reinforcements to spawn this early. I wonder if they're triggered by luring these enemies, so that was quite a shock to me. I was like, whoa, reinforcements now? Okay, I didn't expect that. That's going to be an issue, and here is where things get kind of problematic as well. Now, Keaton's pair-up bonuses on Arthur might not be bad. They'll give him a boost to speed. Something that I actually didn't notice at the time, Arthur and Keaton are a valid support pair. Yeah, I did not know this at all, but they actually are. Also, one of the snipers went down with a lower group. That's not good, because that effectively prevents me from using Camilla as a mixed tank down there. I'm trying to see if I can finish one of these snipers with somebody who is not Xander or Effie. But, yeah. I should mention the first few turns of this map take quite a while thanks to this sheer number of reinforcements here. But eventually, yeah, I've noticed that Nina's slash fit can actually help here, especially seeing as it has weapon triangle advantage over bows. However, she will get countered if she does that. And that dual Yumi is going to really lower Xander's hit rate. That's not that good. Meanwhile, Effie, her hit rate is not great, except against someone with the dual Yumi. Kamui here could, yeah, she doesn't even double these guys. That is kind of... I like how enemy snipers are actually back to having good speed. In a lot of recent Fire Emblem games, enemy snipers have been kind of terrible. Snipers have had fairly bad speed in general. I could finish you with the Grim Yator, maybe. I probably will need to, but then I'll need to send Kamui down the lower front, because I definitely need to tank there. Now, 4 and 13, I think, is exactly enough to finish off that guy. However, I could see how well Midori does. Sadly, the Goat Slayer is not going to do all that much here. I'm just really testing stuff at this point. I kind of lost my chance to get an easy one-shot in this thing with Dwyer, but at this point, maybe I don't need it. I just need to get rid of as many of these snipers as I can. And finishing this one off in one hit will definitely be good because of counter. So, come on, Xander's sister, do your thing.
Sorry.
Yeah, she's going to be level 15 very soon. No, level 13 now. They're decent stats. Seriously, her speed is so high, it's practically... Her strength is actually not that great for having a strength asset, though, now that I think about it, but her speed is very, very good. And here's the point where we have to worry about counter, and also worry about you guys. You have some rally skills, and you have more counter. So... yeah. See, like, if I do that, I get countered. That's good, but I don't want to get countered for that much damage. So I'm probably going to need to use... I'm surprised they never thought about having counter archers in Awakening. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. It forces you to either attack them from a range they can counter-attack from, or attack them where they can't counter-attack and take counter damage. Thankfully, though, counter only activates when the unit is receiving an attack, not dealing an attack. And to be honest, I really, really like that now. I like the way counter works in this game. It's a lot less annoying than it was in Awakening, let's just say. Awakening counter was kind of broken. I get that Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn counter was terrible. It only activated based on skill stat then, and only a half skill stat at that. And I'm also seeing if I can try and finish this one. I doubt it, though. So yeah, for now, sending Nina here. Now, I did not realize here that Nina would take counter damage. That was kind of stupid of me, but thankfully we finished off the archer. And this is making me very, very worried about Nina in case she gets attacked by any of the other snipers. But, yeah, see, here's the thing. Like, I could do that, but that would be really dumb. I think I need to heal Nina now. Thankfully, though, I have the Sun Festal, which I don't think I'll really be getting any more of. I wish I could capture enemies and steal their weapons. That'd be great. I know I can technically buy them from other My Castles, but I don't really consider that to be very fair. And yeah, whoa, you guys do, yeah, a lot, considering Arthur's good defense and the fact that he has an axe that boosts defense. And yeah, here Keaton does okay, but they're doing quite a lot of damage even to Keaton. No doubt thanks to that rally strength. That rally strength is insanely powerful. And I really should have sent more people down the lower front. Now, I could have her use Mjolnir. See, okay, yeah, bad idea, bad idea. Because they double him, Odin Dark cannot even Nosferatu tank here. Definitely not a good idea. Now, if I could block off Elise from getting hit, she might not be a bad option down here. And here's the problem. That guy there prevents me from using Camilla or Percy down on this front. So, that's also bad. I'm also focusing on Percy and Midori's supports at the moment. Now, that would be good if I got a crit, but if I don't get a crit, I am going to be in serious trouble. So, it's quite risky down on this lower area, and at this point, I was pretty much resigned that I'd be losing at least one person on this enemy phase. Yeah, this is very, very worrying. Which is fitting for a wall named after the Great Warrior himself. I never referenced that in my original commentary, by the way, but I wanted to, and now I'm getting the chance to. So, yeah, I'm actually really considering using Mjolnir here. If I do that with Odin, he's probably going to die because he gets doubled by just about everything. And yeah, I'm trying to see if I can finish this guy off with someone else. Like Keaton. I basically need to use the Beast Rune, otherwise he gets ripped to shreds, but he's going to get ripped to shreds by the magic anyway. So, this is a bit of a tricky situation. As you can see here, the first few turns of this map are taking a while, because I just got to be really careful here and plan out all my moves. Yeah, the Beastone Plus is going to do well, but that's going to expose him to a lot more damage in return. Notice the discrepancy between the amount of damage that guy does with the Beastone Plus and the amount of damage he does normally. Like 4 normally, and then with Beastone Plus over 10. Definitely a big penalty to defense there. So basically here I had to see just, you know, what I could really do here. Just planning things out. And we also have more enemies incoming, so yeah. Then I actually realized something. If I managed to kill that sniper, it would be safe to use Camilla here. And that was a real breakthrough that I had. Kill that sniper and Camilla is mostly safe, so can I do this? Because look at this, Camilla doesn't take too much damage from just about anything here. The real threat to her is that sniper. The only problem is, I kind of need to critical it, or I'm kind of in trouble. And banking on a critical is not exactly the best. Unfortunately, Odin can't actually kill it with, So the question here is whether I go Mjolnir and hope for a crit there, or if I go for the sniper and hope for a crit there. Turns out, I went for this one. Now, do I get that crit or not? I did not, sadly, and that's going to be a problem. She's weapon level B, though, at least. She'll only be able to hit an S in Sorcerer, though, but not sure we'll even be getting an S-rank tome. At this point, I kind of needed a Killer Axe crit, but Keaton has better durability, so I might have to use him. I can always... can I heal? Or I could go for either a lethality. Trying to say Midori and lethality. Lethality with Midori there, and or I could try that, except she is taking a lot of damage in return. Yeah, as you can see, I had to be very, very careful this turn. Will it pay off? You'll see once the enemy phase hits. And yeah, Percy... Well, actually, Percy doesn't die in one shot to that. That's actually quite surprising. Hey, Percy is good for something. Anyway, I'm mostly using Percy just because of, you know, personal issues, considering that he is basically the first non-Kamui child that I got. And I still quite like his character. He's one of the few child characters I actually like. So, hit this guy, get hit in return. Thankfully, have Arthur block that tiger. And here... Oh yeah, this is a point where you really want to be in guard stance at all times, otherwise bad things are going to happen. Yeah, here's the problem. I kind of need to use Midori here, and I think if I did, she'd probably get mobbed and killed by just about everything. She can't actually finish this guy off, though, and Ouchies is really not doing me any favors. I thought that weapon would be a lot better. As much as I would like to finish that thing off with the bolt axe, again, there's the sniper up there, which is just bad. Here, I think I banked on a crit. And Midori, being amazing as usual, actually got the crit. That saved me a lot of hassle. I admit that was actually kind of luck, but, you know, with Midori's skill so high, and, well, her being naturally lucky, I guess I can consider that a valid tactic. Now, at this point, I can actually Azura someone here. This might let me get Elise in to be able to heal Keaton, and I could attempt to kill a second enemy with Mjolnir, potentially. Of course, I might not get the crit, but if I do, I can also block off Midori here, which is good, but Midori might still get attacked by a bunch of long-ranged enemies, so she may still die. Or I could try and finish that sniper, because once that sniper is gone, I can use Camilla down here and everything's going to be a lot better. Yeah, this may be the longest single turn I ever recorded in the whole game. But it was necessary. Definitely necessary. And am I going to go for this? Let's see what I eventually go for. Can't really use lightning, sadly. Also got to watch out for these other enemies, because if I do go there, Ophelia is going to get hit by at least one of them. And, well, that might be bad. However, I think I keep forgetting what I actually did here. Yeah, definitely being very indecisive, but there's a good reason for that. I'm thinking now maybe I should... see, look at this. I'm wondering what to do, what's the best move, what's not. Really, there are no particularly amazing moves that make me 100% safe at this point. But what did I decide to do in the end? Come on, past me, you can make up your mind. Oh yeah, at that point I was like, okay, does counter actually work on magic as well as physical? And I realized, oh, actually it does work on magic if you attack from one range, so I actually have to do this. And by sheer good luck, I got a crit here. That, I think, may have saved my life. So yeah, this also means that Ophelia doesn't get attacked by another enemy coming from here. Gain strength, though. Yeah, I'd love for her to be able to use better swords than bronze, but that's not going to happen for a while. Might want to buy some arm scrolls soon. Though I'd also like for Arthur to be able to use better swords, but anyway. And this is actually quite a lot of damage on these guys. So glad that I took out that sniper, so glad that I got that crit. But yeah, also glad that I realized finally that counter actually does work on magical attacks from one range, so that I could know to not have, yeah, not Midori, Ophelia attack from close range and get countered, because that would have ended really badly. Here I had to make sure that sniper from above couldn't hit Camilla, because if he could, that obviously would not end well. I'm just wondering what the best course of action here was. Maybe I should go here and try and block off Midori. And I do need to make sure, though, because I'm just wondering that if I go there with Elise does get hit by the Basaras, but she's got decent resistance, so she shouldn't do too badly against them. Or I could just go for a little bit of chip damage on this guy, which I think is what I eventually decided to do. A little worried about the crit rates on these enemies, though. They're somewhat high. Yeah, that is like a bad idea, but just seeing how much she does to them. Actually, no, I was checking how much she took from the Basaras, but most of them are equipping their lances at this point, so I couldn't actually test that. Yeah, wow, almost all of this video will be on just this one turn. Don't worry, things get smoother from here. Well, not smoother, but things get more interesting from here on. You can definitely tell why I was being careful this turn, though. I really needed to, it's probably part of why a blind run takes longer than an experience run, because if I'd practiced this, I would have known exactly what moves to make on this turn, but not knowing, it took me a while to decide. Fortunately, she got hit there, but didn't do too much. And I totally forgot about that skill, but that actually definitely helped out. Something that I should point out, I think Savage Blow may have been a little bit mistranslated. I was looking up the Japanese names for skills that I already know about, and apparently, Savage Blow was actually Deadly Breath in the Japanese version. In other words, it's the Wyvern's Breath that does it. Its animation does kind of look like Breath as well. Okay, the only one I was worried about there was Nina, and thankfully that missed. If that didn't miss, she may have been killed by another sniper. Okay, here's where I get worried about Midori, because she could potentially get hit by a Basara. Yeah, if Nina had been hit by that ballista, she may have actually died, and I'm glad that thing didn't crit. She also dodged, which is good. Thank you, Lucky 7. And for some odd reason, the Basaras here are going for Camilla, I guess because she can't counterattack. If they'd gone for Midori, yeah, I'm surprised here. Midori may have died if one of these Basaras went for her. I was really shocked that I didn't lose anyone on this phase, but yeah, go Camilla, basically. I'm glad she equipped a weapon that couldn't counterattack as well, because that meant that they went for her. The enemy AI always seems to prioritize enemies that can't counterattack over enemies who can, and this led to a particularly hilarious situation in Gwimpage's Awesome Games Done Quick Radiant Dawn speedrun. I think that was from 2013. I forget exactly when it was from. Go watch that, by the way, it's amazing. I really love that. It pretty much got me into AGDQ in general. No lethality or crit there. The hilarious situation was that there was a point early on in the game where a soldier could one-shot Laura, who was in her range. Laura is a cleric, by the way, so yeah, a healer. and an enemy soldier could one-shot her, but because in Radiant Dawn, Priest can counterattack with staves, the enemy's AI realized she can counterattack, so I'm not going to fight her. I will instead attack an NPC with 40 HP and massive defense that I'm not going to one-shot. So, yeah, a tactic that normally would be totally stupid, leaving a healer in range of an enemy, a low-level healer with terrible defense in range of an enemy, paid off because the AI was really dumb. So that was really funny when I found that out. Yeah, AI manipulation is always pretty funny in Fire Emblem runs and things like that. Admittedly, though, I'm not such a big fan of a lot of Fire Emblem 7 speedruns because they use RNG manipulation, and personally I feel that it's a little bit boring to watch when you know exactly what attacks you're going to miss and hit, exactly what level ups you're going to get. I think I've already talked about this one before, earlier. Camille's getting very high level, by the way. I wonder what she'll learn at level... Oh... Yeah, you are letting her down with that. Like I was saying, because basically I think I've talked about this before, but in a FE7 speedrun that I was watching, they do things like putting Florina, who's a Pegasus Knight, in the middle of an army of archers, and because they've RNG manipulated to know that all of the archers will miss her, she is totally safe there. And I just don't like that, because it's like, you know, it's a tactic that would not work in normal gameplay at all, so... a tactic that's, like, literally the dumbest thing to ever do in normal gameplay. So, yeah, that speedrun was not exactly... And then I watched an FE8 speedrun, which is even more boring, because it's basically just Seth solos everything. Radiant Dawn, however, is a very interesting speedrun. I can actually one-shot. So yeah, now the enemies are all scattered and not exactly fully clustered, things are a lot easier here. And whenever Keaton rears up like that, I think he's about to critical. But, yeah. The critical is him standing still and howling. Hey, we found 3 emeralds. Someone's already made this joke in the comments, but if we get 4 more, we can transform to Super Kamui. As much as I'd like to use Elise to finish off an enemy there, I don't think I can because there are lots of enemies incoming. Or, I could have Elise take 1 step forward, heal Camilla, have Azura dance for her, and then go back. Sing. I keep calling Azura thing dance. It's the same thing, really. Anyway, just keeping track of what weapons those archers have. If any of them have silvers, then things could get a little painful. I also want to be careful of Midori. Yeah, she didn't exactly inherit her father's good resistance, so... yeah. I'm actually not sure what I did here. I think because Camilla's technically safe where she is, so... What did I end up doing here, actually? I kind of forget. Because looking back on this, what I would have done is I would have actually had Elise heal Camilla, have Azura sing for her, Elise move 1 space back, and well, not a few spaces back, and then heal. Or alternatively, I could use Dwyer to heal, but I could have healed both with Elise. I could have kept Dwyer up here, so maybe I didn't make a particularly good move there, but that's the benefit of hindsight. The benefit of hindsight is realizing that you were a derp in the past. And yes, you don't have a, you don't have a dual Yumi. So I'm not sure why they renamed the Reaver weapons. I mean, if they're the same as the Reaver weapons were back in the GBA games, so why didn't they just call them Reaver weapons? Why'd they have to rename them dual weapons? I mean, the Venge weapons are new, but the dual weapons are effectively renamed Reaver weapons. Just my 2 cents on that issue.
You'll be alright.
Although the Reaver weapons were called Busters in the, and I just realized from this, Kamui might get a support with Nina at this point, and that's not going to be good! Because Nina supports with everyone other than Niles are bad. And speaking of bad, that was a bad level up. But, yeah, I'm glad they brought back the Reaver weapons, because they always added an interesting element of strategy to the game. Oh, yeah, and they're called Buster weapons in the Japanese version. Like Sword Buster, Axe Buster, Lance Buster. I think those are better names for ones that would be effective against those weapons. Anyway, going a little off topic here, but all we're doing at this point is just finishing off some enemies. I definitely wanted to send Kamui down to the lower front, though, because her higher defense is going to be useful here. Speaking of which, yeah, an 82% chance of hitting on a Dragonstone Plus is actually pretty good. Finally, she can help out her husband. And this is going to hurt. Yes, it hurts. I kind of wish the Dragon Fang animation as a dragon was cooler. Something else I kind of wish was true about Dragon Fang, but I'll talk about that once I get to live commentating the later chapters. Something that I thought would be pretty awesome, but we'll see if it comes true or not. What to do with Mozu and Dwyer? Not gonna lure enemies up there yet. Actually, most of the enemies here are just, like, lower, so I'm just gonna do this. Yes, get used to Hinata rallying everyone, because, yeah. Okay, good, that missed. Thank you for the full guard gauge there, though I'm annoyed that I'm wasting it on a bow and not on a magic spell, because Keaton's gonna take more damage from that. And, yeah, you're gonna take quite a bit of damage from that, too. Oh, yeah, he's equipping the regular B-stone, so his defense is lower than it should be. And, yeah, okay, good thing that he had the guard gauge against the first one there, otherwise he would have died here. Though he could dodge this, and he did, okay then. He didn't really need to, but it was nice for him to do that. A lot of people are saying they don't really look like... What am I saying? They don't really like how you have counter, be careful about that, past me, yeah. They don't really like how wolf skins look in this game. I'm okay with how they look. I think they're alright. And yeah, thankfully I realized about counter. I love it when you get double, but the enemy only does no damage. Yeah, that's a sentence that works. Only does no damage. It was funny when I had this one situation in Path of Radiance. I'm kind of reminiscing here a little bit, but don't really have as much to say at this point, because I can't exactly commentate on my exact... Thankfully, you're getting double thought process at this point. Situation back in Path of Radiance, where there was a Swordmaster with Astra... Well, not Astra, no, with a Brave Sword, and I was kind of terrified of them, and then they actually hit one of my characters, and they stopped getting useless vengeances. And, well, the critical wasn't useless there, and basically they did... no damage, miss. No damage, miss. That was pretty funny. That was alright. His speed is still a little low. I've heard people say that you're actually meant to reclass him to Swordmaster. But, yeah, it's probably more effective if you do that early. I would absolutely love to get Astra on him, by the way. Can't work with Nosferatu, sadly, because Nosferatu can't activate offensive skills. But Astra would definitely help out his lower speed. And Astra with magic would definitely be pretty cool. It's only level 5 Swordmaster skill as well, so that's definitely not bad. Yeah, Axe is losing to magic on the triangle. That's not so good. Now, here's a time when I kind of wanted to weaken this guy so that Mozu could finish it, and, well, you'll see what ended up happening. Or I could try and go for a crit on that guy. By the way, this music is still amazing. Just thought I'd point that out. And gotta watch out for counter here. I think I actually may have forgot... Yeah, I think I forgot about counter at this point, so, yep. There's another dirt by me. Yeah, I forgot counter there. I was going like, dang it, forgot about that. At least I can still probably heal him. Just need to kill these enemies now, otherwise Keaton's in danger. And unfortunately, Percy's not going to do much. Percy will get a little better in the next chapter, I think, but he's still alright now. And in fact, him being a flyer is definitely helpful for a certain thing that I'm going to have to do later in this chapter, which, given that this is actually post-commentary, I'm actually going to speed that part up. And that was excellent. I love how Midori was never using lethality before.
Don't count Midori
But
out.
now she's lethalitying everything left, right, and center. Why isn't she gaining speed, though? Seriously, her speed should be quite high with Azura as a mother, so I really don't know what's happening here. Speaking of Azura, I just realized here that I need to use someone I need to use her to sing for someone so that I can actually kill that sniper. But once I do get rid of that sniper, there'll be no more enemies in this lower area at this point. Notice how I said at this point. Yeah, I'm trying to think whether I can somehow get Nina down there, and I don't think I can. Without Azura. Because I really want to leave Azura to be able to possibly sing for Elise and heal Keaton if I need to. But I think the best choice here is to get rid of that sniper, because otherwise Elise gets shot by the sniper, and that's not a good day for anyone. Or I could have Kamui. I have to use the Dragonstone Plus here. That's only a 60% chance of hitting. I ended up going for it, though. Good thing is, if this misses, I don't get countered. And did it miss or not? It did. Okay, yeah, that was... I shouldn't be too mad about that. That's basically to be expected. But that lowering there might be okay. And Camilla can hit the enemy at close range there. So, I hate to have to use Camilla here, but I almost don't really have much of a choice. The reason why I say I hate to use her is because she's a little low-leveled. Yeah, all that experience probably better served going for someone else. But hey, situation averted for now, and shockingly, I did not lose anyone on that lower front. I know, I was surprised too. I was really expecting somebody to die, but they apparently didn't, which was actually pretty cool. And yeah, I wanted to have at least heal Keaton. Now, this was the point where things get a little bit more boring, because now I have to have everyone scurry back to the cliff, because there's no way that I am charging Hinata's position here. Main reason being, I want him to survive. Thankfully, hey, gold bar. Thankfully, sparing enemies here is not really going to rob me of too much experience, because really, only Hinata's group there is going to survive. Every other enemy on this map I can safely kill, except for one, and I'll talk about that later. But, yeah. As you can see here, I was mentioning that I want to spare these two, and my method for sparing them is going to be to actually head backwards and try and cross the chasm with flyers rather than run through Hinata's position. And yeah, so, unlike the previous chapter, this is not going to set me back too much experience. A lot of people in the comments were telling me that I really shouldn't have approached the chapter that way because I really need the experience on the Conquest route. Here's the thing though, I'm going to be doing a paralogue after this, spoilers, so I'm still going to be getting some decent experience. And, well, yeah, I get the feeling that I'm still going to be able to get good experience from this chapter and a few others. That and, really, people said, oh, they would have lived, like, you know, Hana and Tsubaki would have lived regardless whether you fought them or not. I did not know that. Remember that I'm playing blind. I had no way of knowing that at all. So, yeah. Thing is, though, I do know now for a fact that Hinata and Oboro do die if you fight them if you kill them in this chapter. So, that's why I'm being especially careful here. As for why I know that, I did see something on TV tropes in the tearjerker section mentioning Oboro's death quote on Conquest, but I didn't actually look at it. Of course, you'll see whether I end up seeing it or not in this chapter. Regardless whether or not, I have seen that quote now, and I will admit that it is very, very sad. And yeah, get used to this, by the way. So here things get kind of boring. I basically just have to shuffle my way back to this point. I'm thinking of maybe using Nina to lunge here, but I also need to have my flyers ferry people across. Or I could lure the enemies in with Xander. But things actually do end up getting a little bit more interesting soon. You'll see. There's something that's actually going to happen here that I didn't expect. And it's actually, well, you'll see. Those forts there do make me very suspicious, but for now, though... Yeah, also Arthur and Keaton pair up. I actually never knew that they were a compatible support pair until after the chapter. I love it when that happens. I actually, again, mentioning a past Fire Emblem story while I'm doing boring stuff... when I was playing Sacred Stones recently to kind of prepare for this game... rally. Yeah. When I was playing Sacred Stones recently to prepare for this game, I had an interesting situation where... who was it again? It was Nimai and Amelia. Those two were fighting together for a while, and I was like, okay, these two can't really support, but my headcanon is they're like best friends or something. and they're going to become really good friends for all these battles. Then, just a few turns later, I saw a support option with them. They actually were a compatible support pair, and I never realized. That was actually pretty cool. Their supports are a little bit meh, though. They basically just talk about having pets. It's kind of weird. Yeah, a little weird that you hear about pet discussion in a Fire Emblem game, but anyway. Now, yeah, okay, at this point I lured people, and I'm glad that happened, because another one of these Spearmasters moved a bit forward to attempt to... The AI always seems to try to get dual strikes on you, even if you're in guard stance. That's maybe something that could be improved about the AI in the future, but I'm kind of glad for that stupidity there. Also, those two went that way, and that I did not expect. See, I didn't cut the footage here because this happened. Suddenly, some paired-up Masters of Arms appeared with rally skills and some really nasty effective weapons. Sword catchers, pike ruin clubs, axe splitters. That got me very worried, because no matter who I send to tank there, somebody is gonna have an effectiveness bonus against them. And then I realized something. You'll see what I realize shortly, but first I get rid of that guy.
Your battle is over.
It's showing Xander over that cliff. That is not exactly possible. I'm annoyed the spear guy is running, though, because I really wanted to lure him over as well. Anyway, though, I'm just trying to think here, because I have a bunch of Masters of Arms here. They have lots of good rally skills, but here's the point where I realize something. Keaton does not use normal weapon types. Keaton just uses Beast Stones, which there is no effectiveness, well, there is the Beast Killer, but, well, none of them have that. So, effectively, none of them can have an effectiveness bonus on him, so I think he's the best choice to tank these guys. Also had to send a bunch of people back, because, well, yeah. Now, I'm actually not sure if those forts here spawn reinforcements or not. The forts that I was blocking on the last turn. Maybe I actually blocked them and they really were supposed to spawn reinforcements. At this point, I'm not really sure. What I am sure of, though, is I want to send Camilla over here. I was hoping the Basaras couldn't climb down the stairs and attack me, but I don't think they can. By sending Camilla here, I might be able to lure the other Spearmasters back so I can get them for experience and or lunge fodder. Actually, I decided to have Camilla sit there, thereby luring the Spearmaster forward. So, yeah, watch what happens here now. Luring this Spearmaster forward, and so he takes even more damage from me. Though that 9% crit rate actually scared me, and that's a lot of damage to be doing to Camilla, actually. Thankfully though, the Master of Arms, and yeah, these guys are going back here now. So yeah, I lured them back. Thankfully, the Master of Arms over with them, who had Rally Strength and Rally Defense, was the first guy to get lured into me. So, at the time, I was applauding the AI for their stupidity there. Yeah, sure, get the rallying guy killed first. That's gonna make my job easier. Thank you for that. That was kind of amazing. I really expected the spear guy to be lured first and the rallying guy to continue to be a problem, but no, the AI was a derp. But Camilla took way too much damage from that, so I'm gonna have to bring her back. I had Camilla sit there, though, to give Xander and Effie the benefit of Rose's Thorns.
Together.
Definitely a good idea to keep using those skills at this point.
Were you even trying?
She's not quite done, but I'm pretty sure the spear guy can actually hit her at this point. Now, I don't know whether I should be having Nina down there for rally skill, whether I should be rallying skill up here. But let's just sit here and rally skill for the time being. And of course, at least you heal your big sister. I was really hoping that Elise and Camille would get a support after this chapter. Did they? You'll find out. And yeah, I noticed there is one forest that is probably going to be in enemy range soon, so I might have Keaton tank there. It's funny, this is one of the few Fire Emblem games where I find myself actually using the forests more for their +1 defense than for their evasion. And, yeah, that hit.
I won't allow it.
And that did a lot of damage. And Effie, please get a good level up. I get the feeling that her strength is supposed to be much higher than this at this point in the game, and that... I nicknamed that guy the Indecisive Spearmaster, because for some reason he's all like, oh, actually, on second thoughts, I'm running away. And then, you'll see later, but then he... He's like, oh, I'm running away now. Oh, wait a minute. They need backup. I'm going that way. Oh, on second thoughts, maybe I shouldn't give them backup. I should go away. Yeah, he is truly the indecisive Spearmaster. Speaking of which, though, we've got some of these guys here. But this video is fast approaching its end. Will I fight them in this part, or will I not? And I was worried about those exclamation marks, and then I realized, oh wait, those were actually because of the weapons that are effective against Arthur. And no matter which one I fight, there's gonna be somebody who... Just testing out damage there. There's gonna be somebody who has an effectiveness weapon, so I really have to use Keaton here. And this one I'm thinking, I could send Kamui here and tank with a Dragonstone, possibly. These guys do have some good rallies behind them. And now there's a spot I probably should have had them go one further back and then put Camilla or... Could I put Camilla next to them? Or had Azura dance for them to activate... By the way, so you know how I was saying how Inspiring Song is basically a special dance with a different name? In the Japanese version, it actually is called Special Song. So it literally is the same skill, just for song. No speed, but that level up was alright. And yeah. I could, however, give Rose's Thorns to Kamui here. Yeah, I'm just showing Rose's Thorns there. And speaking of skills, there's another skill that I eventually realized that I could also stack on my people here. Mainly Kamui. Yeah, I kind of wish that I used Azura's Inspiring Song there on somebody, but I did not. And here's where I realized something. Oh, I don't realize it yet. I realize it after I realized that I derped. But here's the thing. So, Dwyer actually has a skill that could help out here. Gentle Hom. That's going to lower the damage Kamui takes even more. And also Midori. I was wondering if Midori was in enemy range or not. She is not, thankfully. So yeah, I noticed Gentle Hom right here. But wait, the video is about to end. How will I do against this barrage of Masters of Arms? Find out next time.